Pagarodia Public School, Dwarka, New Delhi. WES Sarewala, Managing Director, Shama Group of Schools, Ahmedabad. Nidhi Nijavan, Regional School Director, Z-Learn Ltd. Sangram Singh, Principal, Gautam International Academy, Dhar. And Urmi Mala, Vice Principal, Indraprastha International School. I hand over the session to Madam Indu, and she will be moderating the session. 25-30 minutes, total round table, ma'am. Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon once again, and hope you're enjoying the two-day conference. Just had your lunch, and now we start with the next session, which is always slightly difficult because to get back to, the mainstream once again. We have 5 participants here, and I'm told we have about half an hour only for this session. So maybe 5, maximum 4 minutes or so, each speaker will give their viewpoint, and they're all educationists. Before that? Yeah, that's fine. Half an hour. Yeah. And so they're all from different schools, either the directors or the principals. And before this, we've had session on the service providers, what they had to say about technology. So they've given their point, and which I did attend. Just briefly, too many that's my viewpoint, too many service providers today, and each one has something to offer. So one has to be very careful, not necessarily, that your neighboring school may be doing it and highly recommended, or what is happening in UK may not suit your school. I think that is very, very important. And the trainer and how it is executed is also very important. And this is what the previous service providers said. Moving ahead, I feel that it's very important to know the type of school that you are running. See, public schools, we're all from public schools, who are attending this program. So public schools also is of different, types. You have your A, B, C. One is for the elitists where the fees is high. Then you have your clientele, the middle level. Then maybe just the middle class and so on. So the type of school is very important before you choose the technology. And briefly, I'd like to share with you what we are doing in my school. And I will not name any vendor as such, but what we are doing, and if any, then after that, I'll request them to share their best practices also. I'm the principal of Salwan Public School, Rajendra Nagar. The school that I run, I have 2 government-aided schools also. Salwan Government Boys, Salwan Government Schools, Government Boys and Government Girls. So mine is a public school. So in that campus, I have public-private partnership. Today, the government is insisting on that you adopt a government school and help out. But maybe the vision of the founder was such that in my own campus, I have a government boys, a government girls, and the kind of support I'm giving to them, and how I'm also developing and enhancing our own technology. Now, usually what happens, you engage a vendor, and they have their resource persons who come, and the modules are there. Sometimes you're not happy, you tell the teachers also to prepare their own modules. What we've tried is a new activity, or you call it a practice. The teacher has taught, and the children are told to prepare the PowerPoint presentation at home. And then in the class, it is discussed, so that just to know that the content the students have understood or not. And the teacher also helps out. So in a way, it helps to cover the gaps in between the teacher and the learner. So students making the PowerPoint presentation, I find it helps in bridging the gap. Also, The teacher has taught. Have the children understood? She's used the smart boards. Have the children understood? Then there are service providers. There's some kind of assessment done, and the children answer that. And you come to know this child is weak in this particular skill, this child is weak in this particular skill. And then the remedial class is also, the teacher has to again do those particular activities so that the children pick up and the performance is better. So I find that also helps. Otherwise the teacher has taught and she thinks she's, everyone has learnt, but it doesn't happen. Has the child understood or not? So that's about the assessment. So in a way, you assess the teacher also. And now next is number of exchange programs we do. All schools are doing that. So what we do is Skype sessions. Today, I do enter the my school in UK that I have tie-up with, school in Australia, I do enter, and similar topics we work on. And then my children can see how the teacher is teaching. So that is the breakdown of the classroom walls. And then today, even regarding career options, so there are service providers who do it, online. You don't have people just coming and talking about the universities. So you have your portfolio, you enter your data, then you have webinars. So webinars also take place in the classroom so that children know what is happening. Usually the webinars are for the teachers or the principal, but we see to it that it is done in the class so that the teacher and the child are learning together. Very important. And another thing that I'd like to share with you, this is now the latest issue of Reader's Digest. Now they have a timeline on the independence movement, how it started in 1940 it was, 50 it was, 60, 70, 80, 90, and it's covered till 2010. So when I went through it, I said, this is very interesting. How do you engage the children, not just talking about, Desh ki seva karo or just what our Prime Minister has to say, something more about it. So sometimes you pick up some interesting ideas, and then the children were told to make a PowerPoint, and then all the classrooms, they saw that on the smart boards in 1930 what it was, 40 it was, regarding the freedom movement. So sometimes that also helps a lot in children understanding the national movement, because I was surprised some of them didn't even know what emergency was. Obviously they didn't belong to that generation, so it helps. And one more before I hand it over. Second is, we talk of, I also heard one of them say, कि अच्छा है आपके स्कूल में स्मार्ट बोर्ड्स क्लासेस नहीं है, बिकॉज बच्चा तो कंप्यूटर पे, टीवी पे एंड मोबाइल पे लगा रहता है, विच इज़ ऑल्सो वेरी वेरी कॉमन. बट आई वुड सजेस्ट यू डू दीज इन द क्लासरूम itself. Parents should be present, children should be present, then tell them the plus and the negative points of this. And it's not just doing it once a year or twice a year, it has to be reinforced again and again. And one more point that we did was, when we have sessions, we tell the parents also to come and attend, because the child is more technology savvy and is a native of that, whereas maybe my generation or some of you, we have to work towards being tech savvy, and the parents may not be so much tech savvy. So we have sessions where both are working. We let them enter the classroom twice in a year. They see how the teaching is done so that they can teach at home. And even in regarding the flipped classroom, I don't know how successful it is, but when I say how successful it is, how it is implemented. So there the parent plays a very important role. I stop at this. Some of the practices I've shared with you, I'm sure most of you are already doing it, but I'm sure there's always learning. We are all learning from each other. I've been here since morning. I've been to each and every of these vendors who put up their things, and there's always learning, because new ideas are emerging. Technology is also evolving, and I find there are new things that one can pick up. Thank you everyone, And now I'll request our first speaker, exactly 5 minutes, to share the best practices and what is happening in the classroom. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. I am Urmi Mala Sudhakar. I am the Vice Principal of Indraprastha International School, Dwarka. Mine is one of those air-conditioned schools where the children come from working class and affluent families. So technology is there in every classroom of my school. And we have about 10 laboratories, all the science subjects, the home science, the English, all the languages have separate labs. So technology is a part of teaching in my school. Every step from morning, we mark the attendance on the software to the end of the day where we again mark the attendance. The buses also have software where the attendance is marked. The parents can track the children because we have this tracking system of where the bus is going. Even if the bus gets 10 minutes late, the parents get to know about it. So there's a great play of technology in my school. So from the morning when the child gets into the bus till he reaches home, it's totally technology driven. Now, even when the child is absent, the message goes to the parent that your child is absent today, which in a way is good with the senior children. Sometimes we immediately get a call back to the school saying that, no, my child has left for school. And that's we can find out where it's a senior child who's bunking school and has left from home saying that he's gone to school but actually not come to school. Now, talking of integrating technology in the education, yes, of course, we have a vendor who provides us with the modules. Now, I am personally not very happy with the modules that are there because they are generally not updated. They are updated once in 3-4 years, which is really not enough. And the modules are not there for the foreign languages. We have 3 foreign languages. We don't have it for that. There, the teachers play a big role. They make their own modules. They make their own presentations. And this is where there's one thing we follow. Generally, the head of department of each subject, he or she, is of course taking classes, teaching, and all her or his teaching classes are recorded, video recorded. We keep that in our archives for teachers to see later and learn from it, and again for peer learning. Teachers who come in new can watch the videos of senior teachers, how they are teaching, how they are interacting with the children. This helps the new teachers who come in, especially the younger lot who come in, who are maybe freshers. During the induction program, there are times when we make them sit and watch videos of senior teachers when they are teaching. Now, we also make our children watch a lot of programs like Man Ki Baat of the Prime Minister, Aman Ki Asha. There's another one called Pradhan Mantri. These are a whole lot of serials and programs which we compulsorily make the children watch during the enrichment period in the morning. We have a 45-minute enrichment period every day in the morning, when we put on these videos in every class, which is, of course, age-specific videos we put on. There's one video called Komal, which is on POXO. We make the whole school watch it. We made everyone watch it, from a nursery-based child to a class 12 child. We made them watch this video Komal, which is on POXO. So every morning for about 45 minutes is interactive sessions with the children and making them watch such videos, making them watch educational initiatives. And of course, that is when our classroom recording is also on. We keep the cameras on, we record the sessions, and that helps the administrators, the management, to see the way children respond and to also see the way teachers are interacting with the children for an unplanned session. When you're coming prepared for a lesson, that's different. But these morning 45-minute enrichment periods help me, help the management get to a lot of problems which the children speak up in the morning. Academic content, of course, we are all aware of it, how technology is integrated into academics, but these are some of the initiatives which my school uses, and I think my time limit is also over. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share about how technology is used in my school. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. I think what I found very interesting was that recording the teachers' sessions and using it later on. I think that is that one, could work on. Now we start with our next panelist. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rajiv Tandon, and I'm Managing Director of ACES India Limited. To give you a bit of a background, ACES is a British company, UK-based, present in China, Hong Kong, and Middle East. We are starting the Indian operation very recently. And our mandate is to bring British practices, British school practices into India, the best practices from there. So we are involved in setting up some new schools with British brands and British teachers, and also improving Indian schools with some of the British practices. So our organization headed by one Mr. David Boddy, he is the president of the Head Teacher Society of the UK. In terms of my background, I have had about 30 years of corporate experience. Before this, I was a director of strategy in the Hero Group. I was involved in some educational products and some projects. And now I'm here setting up this India operation for ACES. In terms of technology, we have a product in our portfolio. It's called Campus Mate. Campus Mate is an English teaching platform which is an online teaching platform where the teachers are available from the UK. And this is being already launched in China and Hong Kong. And now we want to do this in India. The solution is basically there are modules available in which online coaching happens from England. And it's a blended solution that there are people in the Indian classroom also who are doing the monitoring and the assessments. So this is the product which we want to launch here now, is ready. We also have certain products in terms of digital simulations. We are very well aware of the labs, etc. But everything is not possible to be demonstrated in a classroom. For example, you can show a tuning fork to a child, but if you want to show what happens to a plant in different environmental conditions, let's say if there's less water in a plant, so there are simulations available. If you put less water, what will happen to the plant? So that is basically once again a screen-based thing. So these are of course many tools which are there. We very well know that the way we are instructing and the pattern of education is changing very rapidly, and we are bringing these products into Indian environment, so that even in the higher classes, the engagement of the students remains high. There are barriers, we know, in India, barriers in terms of teachers not being very much upgraded with all these things. There are many things. We can bring only a few of them and gradually bring out this change. There is also, we feel that the teachers are very busy. There's a lack of time to, learn these new practices, adopt these new practices. There's a lot of support required, and that's what we try to do. Some of the schools are lacking in the infrastructure also, in terms of hardware, software, etc. There are financial constraints, and there are technical issues also. So we have a team which brings in kind of a holistic solution to implement these technologies in the schools. Thank you.
Set up any school of yet?
Yes.
So the best practices of UK in India, I would say each country has their own practices, and one should think before picking up any best practice. Sometime back when I went to, just a month back, to the UK, In fact, they liked some of our own practices, so they also seem to be going back to what India is doing. Now, again here, I think the takeaway, what is very important is because teacher training is lacking in India, even your newspapers, 2-3 days back, articles seem to say that. So online training is very important, and I would say instead of teachers just attending, conferences or one workshop here or there, make them do one online program in a year, so that there is consistency and they learn something and they can implement it in the school. What seems to be happening is, आप ये workshop पे जाइए, आप उस पे जाइए. After that, no, one-day workshop is not enough training. So it's better one online program a year and then do the follow-up in the school. That's what I suggest, and we are doing that. Thank you. Doctor? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Praveen Kukreja, you also come. Please come. All right. Now our next speaker, please come and introduce yourself and tell us your best practices.
Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, beautiful. That is the general answer that we get post-lunch sessions. When we say good afternoon, people are half dozing already. So it takes some time to get the act together and, okay, I'm game. So good afternoon, everybody. Okay, I'm Gaurav Bedi. I am principal of Gurukul, the school. This is in Ghaziabad. Well, quite interesting topics, have been shared regarding bringing the technology inside the school. Well, I truly believe that technology is great. But there are two aspects of technology. Let's go one step behind. Why do we need technology at first place? Is technology good or bad? Well, knife is neither good nor bad. In the hands of a surgeon, it may save a life, and in the hands of a hoodlum, it can take a life. The way, the ideology behind using technology is more important than technology itself. Now, there are two aspects of technology. One is the administrative aspect, which my dear colleague just shared, that taking attendances on ERP or bringing all the administrative aspects into the school, brilliant. The other is the academic aspect of technology. Now, let's take a class where you have to teach any particular concept using maybe already prepared animations, etc. And there is a flip class, or maybe there is a class on animation, how does heart pumps the blood, etc. Two aspects. One, is technology giving knowledge bombardment that has already been given by any teacher? Or is it going to help the thinking process of my children? That is one aspect which I personally believe must be thought of before deciding to bring on the technology in the classroom. I'm not against it. In fact, I'm using technology to communicate with you. I'm very much in favor of technology, but I believe that one step before using of the technology, that is most important. I have been interacting with quite a few teachers, principals, educationists. Recently, I was in MIT, US, and the Dean of Management Study. She was doing a survey with some of her students, wherein they were talking about America as a most technological institute. Is it? I mean, do we believe that America is one of the most technically advanced institute or a country? You had good lunch, I know. So she was talking about American students, and she was talking about the crime rate in America, and she was talking about the depression cases in America. 1 out of 3 in America, American citizens go and visit a psychiatrist. That means a psychiatrist must also be visiting some other psychiatrist. Technology-enabled classrooms. I'm not relating to technology, but I'm just trying to relate that too much dependence on technology can be hazardous. As Hindu ma'am rightly said, that we have so many vendors hovering around, we have so many products, they promise so much, but the only solution, what I feel that we all are here for, when you go back to the classroom, we want children to be meaningfully engaged. We want our children to have their thinking capacities on, curiosity to increase. If technology can bring these aspects in the classroom, I am game. Our school, I'm not going to share much about it because we already have too much, we have smart classes, we have teacher-driven content, we have student making PowerPoint presentations, the older student giving it back to the younger ones, they value add it and then they present it. This is all happening, it's contextual. I remember when radio was invented, somebody said it's going to revolutionize the education. When motion picture was invented, Einstein said that it's going to revolutionize the education. Has it really revolutionized the education? I leave it on you. As I always, I've been stating this, that think before we use technology. Bring the best content in, let the children be inquisitive, let them learn, let them enjoy, and make the best use of whatever technology you have. As I said, it's not only smart boards that we consider as technology. A pen is a technology. Even the windows of your classroom are technology if you relate it to that. But yes, technology do bring, when you go to PowerPoint presentations, videos, it stimulates child's thinking, all right. My only suggestion to the entire group is think when we use technology, and that's it that I wanted to share with you. Thank you. Thank you, the moderator, for giving me an opportunity to speak in such a wonderful association of all you leaders. Thank you.
I'll just like to sum up what Mr. Gaurav had to say. See, it is the mind, the brain which has made technology. It's very important that the child and us the thinking should always be there. Think how to think without think, all that is very important. So you have your knowledge and the skills, but along with that you need the 21st century skills, call it life skills. So combination of both, I think, is what education is. Technology plus the child should be able to think. If in a crisis you can't go back to the computer, you have to apply your mind. And that is what the message is. And being innovative, being creative is all fine, but thinking how to think, and that is what we should focus on. I also in the morning when I attended the session on, preschool, they say to say you observe too much of technology with the Montessori. I personally feel we should not encourage too much of use of technology with the preschools. Because there's another school of thought which says there are all schools of thought are there, we have to take a call what we want. So there's another school of thought which says that till the age of 5 to 6, don't use technology with the child. Thank you very much, and I now welcome our next speaker.
Good afternoon. I'm Nadine Jhavin. I represent the Z group of schools, the Mount Litera Z schools. And our SL group chairman, Dr. Subhash Chandraji, started the Mount Litera Z schools with, not with the metros, but with the nooks and corners of the country. So we have schools all over. Pan-India, we have more than 115 schools. So here we are very much using the technology, because for us we have a school say in Pehwa, or we have a school in Badot, or we have a school in Ghaziabad, and we do a lot of teachers training through technology itself, and we have the subject specific trainings also being done through that. And the technology accessibility in the classrooms, when we talk of, is as I agree with my peer group, that it is how we are using it. But we also need to understand that technology is here to stay. Because it is something that can be developed, is evolving, and is evolving in a very, very positive manner. If we talk of, say, virtual reality, virtual learning, if my child is watching what is going on in Siberia, or he's learning about the ecological system or the environment through the IWB boards, interactive whiteboards, and then going and moving into the forest and looking and doing the excursions and all, they're definitely going to be more with learning outcome. And these are few practices we are using. Even our pre-primary segment, we have come up, our Kidzi are our pre-primary play schools, but in Mount Litera also we have the pre-primary section, and we've come up with tablets for our children. Now through tablets and talking pens, we are trying to give a curriculum, because we need to also remember we are a country where education sector has lot more to achieve. And most of our teachers, they are not teachers by choice, they are teachers by chance. So somewhere that gap has to be bridged, and technology very beautifully is doing it. And when we talk of the way we are using it, we have developed our e-content. We have, of course, hired many service providers also. But the results we are getting, they are phenomenal, because we go by, I hear, I forget, but I see and I remember. So somewhere we need to cater for different kind of learners. There are the auditory learners, there are the visual learners, we need to cater for them too. So how we are bridging the gap and bringing it forward, this is where we need, as school leaders and higher education leaders, we need to, there are many think tanks, we're all think tanks sitting here, so we need to understand and then move about in that direction. Thank you very much.
This speaker, the important word she used was technology is evolving. Today, it is, I think, almost mandatory to have a 3D printer in your school, because without that, things don't seem to be moving. And also, the Atal Tinkering Lab, which the government has introduced, and some schools have been shortlisted for that. So how things are evolving and changing is a proof of that. And education sector has to achieve, has to do much more, well, rightly so. I saw one of the service providers that how even in the rural areas where there is no net, you have an alternative to that. So depending on what kind of area, what kind of, who's your clientele, so accordingly the technology you use for that. Thank you, madam.
Very pleasant good afternoon to the House at large. We are here to discuss about the excess of technology in our classrooms. Rather, I must say learning studios, because Now, classroom definition has been changed. We are not only involving them through chalk and talk, but we are involving different media to teach. So today we are in a class learning studio where technology is used in different ways. May it be through PowerPoint, maybe through smart boards, maybe through any other form of technology which we are using in classrooms or learning studios. But I personally support the school of thought where I believe technology should be used. Since morning we are focusing on that we need to develop social and emotional skills among our students. And technology, if we will leave our children totally relying on technology, social and emotional skills, values, ethics cannot be developed. Because a teacher can better connect to a child through emotions. And when the emotion begins, as one of our fellow educators said, happiness is created. When happiness is created, learning happens in whatever way it is. Yes, technology is important, keeping in pace with the 21st century. But I must say, I strongly believe no technology can replace teacher who is so important, a role model for a child. We are focusing on creating new technological devices. We need to think upon how to make a balance between the existing technological devices, how to set up a limit on using those technological devices. Moreover, we are dealing with those parents, as some of our fellow friends said, they are from the urban areas or maybe other remote areas, rural areas, where it is difficult for the parents to pay fees. We can't speak about technology. So if we need to introduce technology, we need to work with technology, we need to educate our parents, because parents are one of the stakeholders in the progress of a child. So as we are dealing with 21st century learner, we need to develop social, moral, ethical skills among a child, which cannot be brought only relying upon a technology. We need to make a balance, and with that, I end up here that if we develop a passion for learning, we will never cease to grow. Let us develop that passion to create more and more strategies where a better balance, a humanistic approach can be created and a better society can be formed. Thank you. Okay. Myself, Mrs. Gurmeet Kaur, I have been worked with GEMS Education for 7.5 years as head of the department, social science. Before that, I worked with Mother Teacher School as vice principal, and right now, intentionally, I have taken up to work in a kindergarten school as a principal, because after 19 years in teaching education, I realized my experiences throughout in senior secondary wing. And I realized that I need to work upon the little kids who are the foundation. So I have recently joined with the kindergarten wing. Thank you. Have a lovely evening.
What is education? What is the future of education? All these things, are asked again and again. Everyone gives their own answers. And to sum up what Madam said, what is education? Yes, technology is very important, but along with that, technology will give you the knowledge, the skills, but you need the attitude, aptitude, 21st century skills, and life skills. So very difficult to sum up in one sentence what is education. So one has to keep trying and relearning and reimagining the future of education. And another point rightly said, that we have to educate the parents, and this is where we seem to lack. So maybe the parent enters the classroom twice a year, or some of them may not be too much computer savvy and so on. So hold classes so that they know the basics. That is also adding value to the school. And in some schools I find they do everything, even the circulars, everything is online. But then we also have EWS. Do they have access to this kind of facility? One has to think about that. But then educating the parent is very, very important. Thank you, Madam. And now I think our last speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Paveen Kukreja. I am from Shemford Futuristic School, Agra. It's really a pleasing environment that we are discussing on the topic technology. Technology is a pen and paper of today. It is that lens by which we see the life. Every student, every parent want that technology-oriented schools. But are we working? Are we working on the passion? Are we want that our child will learn what exactly they have to learn at their own age? But best parameter is we have to check at what age which parameter of technology the child have to learn. Exactly what is happening, as ma'am has told, I very well agree. Till the age of 5 in kindergartens, technology will be limited. Let them be more towards the thinking parameter. More they think, more they can generate. Same in the age of 6 to 12, we have to limit the technology use. Although technology is very useful, as per our city, Agra, our teachers are getting online teaching sessions only because of technology. And if teachers and parents both are technology oriented, technology getting information, definitely students will improve. But the main factor again is the passion in the criteria. Are the students really ready to learn? Are they not misusing the technology? We have to check all this. And for this, we really need a trained teachers. Our is a franchisee school, and for setting our schools, we need good trained teachers which are not available at our city. So with the help of this technology, we are training our teachers. And later, these teachers are working on the students also. In our school, we are having limited technology and we are expanding. And as per our mentor of the today, Ma'am Indu, I am meeting her. It's like a dream come true. I was very impressed by the school of them. And really, we want to give this best education in our school also. With this, I will be very thankful to all of you. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, as I was just going through the topic, we seem to have missed on the word inclusive education. Technology accessibility in the classroom and focus on inclusive education, that is, you have the disabled, the have-nots, the EWS, and then you have the average and the ones who are doing well. How do you integrate the whole thing? That is also very, very important and to be kept in mind. And technology, yes, is very important because it is towards personalized learning, and quality of learning is, it helps in that. So personalized learning, and so one has to use technology for the disabled, for the visually impaired in the classroom, then use it, there are some websites which, you know, especially with NCRT, if you go through their website, so there are some kind of websites they suggest for further enhancement and development of knowledge. So in the classroom use of technology, one should be able to cater to the inclusive education also. I think that's what I'd like to say. And how do we sum up? Maybe, in fact, you should sum up the whole thing. One or two sentences, I'll request the audience to say something before we finally conclude. One or two of you, and just one or two sentences. Please do participate so that, you know, we've all learned together. Yes. Yes.
So what I think that
So what I think about technology, it's a tool, it's a facilitator. It's not the substitute of the teachers or the students.
Definitely the human intervention is always required. So it all depends on you that how you can leverage that tool for the better outcome, better enhancement of the quality. So that can import, but that cannot be substitute of the human intervention.
Yes, rightly said. Teacher is supreme, and we have a lot of teaching aids so that we connect with the child. And today you must have noticed also that with so much being available, I find the children are changing their jobs also frequently, and they're trying new careers. But end of it, I think if a good foundation is given in education, they should be able to find their way in whatever they want to do in life. When I meet my alumni, I find they've changed 3 jobs and all doing exceedingly well from one job to another because the opportunity was there and doing exceedingly well. End of the day, a good education matters. One more participant before we close. Bindu madam, will you like to? Yes.
Am I loud enough? Am I loud enough?
I think, well, yes.
Well, I just feel that what all our panelists have said leads us to believe that holistic education is all about using technology in a mindful manner.
Yes.
See what is appropriate for your institution, see what you can properly use, and don't just follow the herd. Am I right?
Yeah. That's right. So, put well. One last sentence, Bindu, I had taken your name. One last sentence and we close. Thank you. Thank you for that.
I think everybody had their own perspective, and everybody was right in their own perspective. All I would like to say is that in a world of EQ, I think TQ is here to stay.
Yes.
And it's time that we all focused on the technology quotient of our children.
So, technology quotient along with EQ is there, but technology quotient, yes. Thank you very much. And we don't know what the world has to offer because technology is playing a very powerful and important role. Thank you very much. And I'd also like to thank the organizers for this beautifully arranged conference. I think this is the 10th one, and each year I find there's a lot of improvement and it's also evolving. Thank you very much.
Thanks, ma'am. Indu Khetarpal, Principal, Salwan Public School. Each year we're improving, but we need your guidance all through to do better. Thanks a lot, and thanks to all of the panelists. Surely technology is going to play a pivotal role for the next stage classroom education, but technology with a human touch, that's important, I guess. Thanks a lot. And thanks all the audience who have participated in this Q&A. I'd like to request Honorable Minister from Sri Lanka, Shri WES Radhakrishnan sir, if you can just kindly come to stage for once and hand over the souvenir to all our eminent panelists. To start with, Srimati Indu Khetarpal, Principal, Salwan Public School. A big round of applause for her. Then with M.K. Manna, Chairman, Different Convent School, Gudda, not there. The Javed Alam is not there. Pratibha Davas is not there. Seema Sharma, Director Academics, the Doon Valley Public School, Muzaffarnagar, not there. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Tick mark here. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So I'll start with Nidhi Nichavan, Regional School Director, Z-Learn Ltd. Urmimala, Vice Principal, Indraprastha International School. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Gaurav Bedi, Principal, Gurukul, the school, Ghaziabad. Gurmeet Kaur, Principal, Dashmesh Nursery School. Gurmeet Kaur, please. Yeah. And then Rajiv Tan. Rajiv Tandon, Managing Director, Assis Anglo Schools, New Delhi. And this one also, Parveen Kukreja, she came late. No? Dr. Parveen Kukreja, Principal, Shenford Futuristic School, Agra. And we have you covered up. So one group photograph, please. Thanks, Indu ma'am, for guiding me like a true teacher. Thanks. Can I have a group photo? This panel deserves a huge tali, please. Thanks a lot. Thanks.